Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Colorado Avalanche as this is another playoff season for the Colorado Avalanche. They have clinched and punched their ticket to the 2022 postseason, so we'll be going over how they got to this point in the season. Will they win the President's Trophy potentially? The success of this team recently, all of that. We're going to get into that today. So, for the fifth consecutive season, the Colorado Avalanche are going to the Stanley Cup playoffs. A pretty big mark here for the Avs, a consistently, strongly led by Joe Sakic organization. And the guys on the ice, Landeskog, McKinnon, Rantanen, Makar. I mean, this is a loaded Colorado Avalanche team. And despite a lot of criticism going into the season with, even with when Jared Bednar came in, who's this Jared Bednar guy? Is he a good coach? It's been pretty damn good for the Avs. Goaltending, Darcy Kuemper comes in. How would he be as the starter taking over Grubauer? Again, also pretty damn good. So we're looking at a spot here where the Avalanche just have tons of talent. Everything that's been coming in there has turned to gold. Nazem Kadri, right? There was a lot of questions about him and his time in Toronto. He comes to Colorado. He's been a great player there. Even guys like Val Nichushkin, guys you really wouldn't think much of. Devon Toews, he is a potential Norris Trophy defenseman. I mean, that is incredible. And, probably one of the worst trades of last season in the NHL was the Islanders trading Devon Toews for 2 second-round picks to the Avs. Absolute robbery by Joe Sakic. And this is kind of what we're looking at with the Avalanche is, they're kind of reaping the benefits of good trades and good acquisitions that just fit with what their culture and their team is. Now, here's the thing with the Avalanche. So there's all this positive stuff. They have the most points in the NHL. Last time I checked, I think it was 104 or 106 points, which currently leads the NHL and likely to lead to a President's Trophy, which is pretty impressive. But there is an issue. They haven't got past the second round since 2002. That's right. That was 20 years ago. That's 20 years ago when Patrick Waugh and all those, Claude Lemieux and that Avalanche team. And Joe Sakic was on the team. That's what we're talking about here. It was a long time ago for the Avalanche. So that's always been the criticism. Anybody, all these Avalanche fans, ooh, let's go, we're good. I went to the Islanders game, and you know what I said to them? I'm like, get past the second round, right? Because that's kind of the criticism, right? They have not been able to get over that hump. And we've seen a couple teams here have those issues. The Washington Capitals had that. Even the Pittsburgh Penguins for a little while had that. And then all of a sudden, even the Blues, they went on to win the Stanley Cup in 2019 after years of getting beat by the Blackhawks. So that's kind of how it works. This could be the year where the Avalanche are the top dog and they just kind of go and do what they have to do. Now, the problem is, you would think, oh, well, they'll just steamroll through the playoffs. That's not how it's going to work. Problem is, the best case scenario is they finish first in the conference at the very least, right? They finish first in the Western Conference. They play the second wild card team. Now, the problem with that is all those teams right now, they're pretty close to each other in the standings. So they're going to be fighting it out till the end of the regular season in order to get into the playoffs. So now you're going to be playing a team that's probably been playing well in order to get themselves just to get into the dance. They've been playing well, and they're going to use that mojo and have that momentum come playoff time while the Avalanche are resting guys like Landeskog, McKinnon, Makar down the stretch into the postseason. So that's kind of what there could be a little bit of an issue even in the first round, which is on roster could be the easiest team they play against. Now you get to the second round, that could be another issue in its own right if you have to deal with a team potentially like Vegas, who ends up being the first wild card. They beat whoever's in the second place spot, right? Whether that's St. Louis or Nashville, whoever it ends up being. Or you have to play one of those teams, right? And even if you get past that, you're going to be playing the best team in the Pacific Division, which could be Edmonton or one of those teams, or Calgary. That would be a very nice Western Conference matchup, right? Western Conference final, you have Calgary and Colorado. That's been the hype all season. That would be pretty interesting. So, and then whoever's going to come out of the East. Now, that actually might be the easiest series because whoever comes out of the East is probably going to be limping on one leg, whether that's Pittsburgh or the Rangers or Florida or Tampa, whoever that ends up being, especially Tampa, considering they've been, at that point, would be their third consecutive Stanley Cup final. You're asking for a lot there. That actually might be an advantage for the Avalanche. So that's kind of what you're looking at here. This is the Avalanche's 18th playoff appearance in their team's history in Colorado. This is a really good hockey team, and there's not really much to say other than they are the front runners right now to win that Stanley Cup, and for good reason. I mean, like I said, you look at their defense. Taves and Makar have been just unreal, like ridiculously good. And then even the depth defense is still really solid, and that's been been the backbone while you've had those guys injured. Taves missed a lot of hockey earlier this season. So that's been really critical for them. They just locked up Curtis McDermott. Congratulations, signing an extension. And then up front, you have the big dogs. You look at that entire top six, it's incredible, all that talent they have there. And even in the bottom six, I mean, the bottom six is still really good. So you're looking at an Avalanche team that is a veteran-led team with a super good defense, as long as the goaltending can hold up, and that's been the problem for the Avs. Their goaltending hasn't been able to be good enough in the postseason, and that's what's happened to Grubauer. I think that's ultimately, that could end up being a blessing in disguise, was losing Grubauer, because he struggled in the postseason the last couple years for the Avs. And like I said, they've made the playoffs. This is their fifth straight time making the postseason. That means the last 4 years, they have not gotten past the second round. Is this the year, right? Fifth time's a charm, maybe? That's kind of what you're looking at. So, like I said, as long as the goaltending can hold up and this team is healthy, as long as Landeskog's back and everybody's fully healthy on the back end, this team's going to be really good. And I think they are going to be a threat come playoff time. So, guys, that is it for today's video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is the year that the Avalanche maybe not only get past the second round, do you think they get to the conference final? Do you think they get to the Stanley Cup final? Do you think they win the Stanley Cup? Let me know what you guys think of the Avs in the postseason down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.